Good old Nikki. Gotta be in the video. We're gonna do a review of the Lionel Santa Freight. There's Nikki again. Nikki's got to be involved. If it's a train, Nikki's there. For those of you who remember my end scale layout, this is par for the course. Nikki has to be in the middle of everything. This is a review of the Santa Freight O-Gauge by Lionel. My wife wanted me to go ahead and test it out. I figured I'd review it while I was doing it. This thing is usually running around, I don't know, $399, $400. It's marked as, I don't know if you can see the price tag, $299.99, which was a really good blowout price. And if you've got someone who's really into, say, the Polar Express, and you can't afford the extra $150 or so for the Polar Express, this is what you want. So we're gonna go ahead and it's factory sealed. So let me just show you that. Comes with a remote. The great thing about all of the Lion Chief stuff is that, as you can see the Lion Chief logo, all the Lion Chief stuff, if you're unfamiliar with Lionel, Lion Chief basically means this thing is ready to run. In the old days, you used to take a power pack and you'd increase power to make the train go faster, or reduce the power to make the train slow down. So that was how it used to be done. Lionel got spoiled with the whole TMCC system and how they wanted to run their trains. They wanted to have complete control over every part of the train, up to and including lights, horn, couplers, everything. So if you get a Lion Chief system, it comes with a remote. It's remote controlled. And this is a big deal because, you know, I started out HO scale, then went to N scale, and basically it was old technology, little Bachmann, you know, power pack, and there was no control over lights, there was no control over horns, there was no sound, just the sound of the train going around the track, and that was it. And so here we are. Lionel has taken all of the advanced features that you would have to buy a DCC equipped locomotive. You'd have to put a DCC controller into it. You'd have to get a DCC system and set up your bus line, and it was very complicated with HO and with N scale, and Lionel has really left everything behind ever since they came out with TMCC. TMCC has been done away with for the intermediate trains. The intermediate trains and the lower cost trains now are all Lion Chief or Lion Chief Plus or Lion Chief 2.0 Plus. And so I've got a couple of 2.0 Plus machines. They're amazing, and I've demoed those on some of my other videos. So this is the Santa Freight, basically a Christmas one, but it's a great way to get someone started into the whole. So now the great thing about the remote controls is with all the Lion Chief, it comes with remote control, and you have control over the horn, which is the button on the, you'll see the 3 buttons on the remote. You'll see the horn on the right. In the center, you see a microphone, and that is for what's called crew talk, which is announcements from the train itself. In some of the higher end, it's a dialogue between the train engineer and the dispatch at the tower. And so this one's labeled, you know, Klaus. So this is the Klaus class. We're gonna go ahead and give this thing a try. If you don't like the controller, if you want something a little more high-tech, you can get the app for your phone. Download that straight from the Google Play or from, I was able to find it on Google Play, I think. It might also be on Samsung Play. It's also the iTunes Store or iApp Store, or whatever you get it is for the iPhones. They're more set up for iPhones, but you know, it also works very well on the Androids. So I'm filming this right now on my Samsung Android. I'm gonna have to be doing double duty by reprogramming the train, because one thing Lionel does is they have the sound up to a point where someone who is a professional bagpipe player in Scotland would hear the trains at a normal, comfortable volume level. For everybody else in the world, it's a little too loud. So there we go, that's the back. Explaining the whole Bluetooth. You can use the Lionel Lion Chief app, which is how I'm going to program this thing. Some pictures of how to set this thing up and blah, blah, blah. Moving right along. So I'm gonna go ahead and break that seal. Normally when I buy a present for somebody, I don't mess with all of this. You know, just open it up and, you know, certainly don't make a video of what I'm getting them for a present. But in this case, you know, this is a special case. We want to make sure that everything runs. So don't think that if I ever get you a birthday present or a Christmas present that it means that, you know, I've opened it and made a video of it. So first things first, open the box. Really simple. Wow. This is actually some really nice styrofoam. You could actually use that as a layer for street. Normally they give you the white styrofoam. This gray stuff looks great. You could use that for cobblestone without any real, you know, just cut it and there you go. It's awesome. I like that. All right, open that, and there you go. This is basically what you're gonna look at when you open the box. You're gonna see the, there we go. You're gonna see the engine here. Lionel does this thing with the blue ribbons. Here's your tender. This will be one of your cars. The other should be underneath this, along with the track. And this is your power supply and the remote control. So it's just as simple a matter as taking this. It's usually a piece of tape holding it down somewhere right about there. Should be another one. Try to find it right there. There we go. All right. So we're going to take this part out. And I'm going to go ahead and get the track out of there and set it up. We'll put this aside for now. Like that. Hello. There's a little man inside. Hello. There we go. No tape to cut over there, just on this side. Tape is removed there. So now we should be able to just get this out of here so I can get the track out. There we go. Set that over there for now. Because my ideas could be very helpful to them, or they could be utterly disastrous. We'll see. One thing I definitely think for sure is that if you're going to offer the legacy system, if you're going to offer the Lion Chief system, and the legacy system is amazing. I'm a big fan of the legacy system. I'm a big fan of the Lion Chief system. They've made the coding to that all available so that anyone who is, you know, any competitor can make their products compatible. Hopefully Williams will follow suit. MTH followed, making the TMCC system compatible with their own. I'm hoping that they'll go ahead and just follow suit. Instead of having your own controller system, just use the Lionel Legacy. That's the easiest way to do it. And I think MTH would spend a lot less money. You know, they would make a lot more profit probably selling their trains. I don't know what's more compatible, what's more profitable. The selling the controllers or selling the trains. I would think the single biggest thing you're going to make your most money on is your accessories. Really quick, just so I can explain this to everybody. For the beginner, when you're looking at this and you don't know what you're looking at, this is the accessory track. When you plug, this comes with a special plug. Any plug-in accessory can go right there, and it will take power from the track and turn on. So whether it's a, you know, a tug of war, and since thematically this is a Christmas train, you could get, you know, elves doing a tug of war, etc. An interesting thing, I'm going to talk a little bit about the train store I got this from, which is unfortunately going out of business due to the passing of its owner. You'll see there's 3 rails. Each one of these has tabs, and you'll see the little spaces here. This is for the carrying through of the lines to go through, you know. So you would plug this one into this one, you'd solder wire from here, run it to this tab, run it through here, solder to this tab, to this tab, to this tab. Now the interesting thing, I recently bought some pieces from the in-store layout that was at my favorite train store, which, as I mentioned, is going out of business. None of these on his entire layout were soldered. He was relying completely on the plugs to go between the track. Lionel makes their stuff so well that that actually worked for him. He was able to run that track since they came out with, he was able to run that layout since they came out with Fast Track. He put all that Fast Track down and relied entirely on these to carry the electricity, and it worked for years. He had no problems. He just plugged it all straight in and ran an entire layout without soldering any of those tabs. Lionel really recommends you do that. He was able to get it to work without doing that. The next important one you got to know is that this is your power supply. You don't have to rely on this. You can actually solder, take power leads and solder directly here. But since this is a beginner set, use this. They're equally the same size, so what you can do is put them on the other side of the layout, one from another. Now, when it comes to getting your track connected, you'll see you've got a 3 groove here, and you got this T groove right there. The T groove slides right here and clicks in. Let me turn this so it makes sense. See the T groove? T groove slides here. All right, so if I take this, there we go. It's hard doing this. You're sitting here saying, okay, look at the phone, look at the phone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, in this, let's get this down to where you can see it. T groove, T groove. It's that simple. You've already got holes pre-drilled for screwing this thing down to your layout. This way, you put an accessory right here, like the Hero Boy house from the Polar Express, which I also bought yesterday, but I bought that for myself. That is where we're going to go ahead and you plug that in there, and it turns on, and hey, you've got something on your layout. Notice it doesn't take very long to set this track up at all. There's the accessory port on that shows you got power, and this thing is ready to run. So there you go. You can actually touch the track without hurting yourself. The entire reason I never was allowed to have Lionel trains as a boy. Best way to do this is by lifting these. All right, so here's our controls. This is for the chuff, the sound. We want that on. We want that off. The tender is usually where the Bluetooth mechanism and the sound mechanisms are. And there you go. It's that simple. It is now ready and running. Look at that. It's really nice. I love the detail on here. You could actually replace this with, if you want to make it more scale, you could replace the ladder and this to make it more, something smaller and more scale-like. Push that down. This will open. You see that tab right there? Push that down. The coupler will open. Push them together. There's a little switch on the inside here. When you click that, they lock together. There we go. All right, well, there it was. Pretty simple. One of the things to remember is just to make sure as you're working with the train, you've got to make sure that you set the couplers correctly. Push the little tab to make the coupler open. Press them together and the little center tab in the middle of the knuckler should automatically close it. But just to be sure, so you don't leave train cars behind, make sure you pop that back up. Make sure you just check the little tab and make sure it's pushed up, the tab that's on the side. This one's a winner for anyone you want to buy an easy to use Christmas train for. I would recommend this one. More for, you know, kids, I would say. I don't think this is something that, you know, someone who's middle-aged is going to want to collect, but there you go. All right. Here's another review for you. Remember, hit like, subscribe, comment, and we thank you very much.